Stargazers. This is Sandra from 7th House Astrology. I'm coming to you today to discuss one aspect that has started to occur today. So if you've been encountering things falling, communication, getting the channels of communication getting all sorts of hayward, and also some listening issues. Well, bad news is we are in Mercury Retrograde at this time. This time we're in Mercury Retrograde within Sagittarius, moving back into Scorpio. So before I begin, I would like to share with you something that could also help me, because one of the retrogrades I absolutely detest is Mercury retrograde. And it's probably because my natal Mercury and my natal Venus are in Virgo, which is one of Mercury's rulers. Somebody in a group that we usually meets on Meetup had also mentioned this. She had a lot of aspects in Gemini and felt that Mercury retrograde, and Mars retrograde is terrible. I hate Mars retrograde. But one thing I like to do during retrograde seasons, so this would be the invisible clip. But I'd like to take the invisible clip and kind of think of it as I'm kind of like taking away the dust and the debris that Mercury retrograde brings. Just get that to settle someplace else. And I think I'll just do this today while I'm talking with you guys. Even if I cover up my own face, it's all good. I love this trigger, by the way. I admire those who could easily do this. Like that. I don't know if you could hear it with my teeth, but I think I'll just do the clear away the debris. There we go. So what to expect with Mercury retrograde starting in Sagittarius? Well, last time that Mercury retrograde was in Sagittarius for me, it kind of hits outside 3 planets in my chart. There's Jupiter, there's Uranus, and then there's Neptune, all of which are grand, idealistic planets, especially Jupiter and Neptune. Uranus depends. Uranus being erratic just always depends. I think with conjunct Jupiter, it's definitely idealistic for me. But one thing that happened was that I kept getting these really grand, very weird ideas. Last time that Mercury retrograde was in Sagittarius. And one thing, the thing was, maybe I can like buy a sound bowl and learn how to play like the guy with Healing Vibrations. You're not familiar with who that guy is? Check him out for sure. Yeah, he's like the master of sound bowls, and he has just a way of just making sure that everything becomes like whew, calm and so zen. I used to fall asleep to his channel big time because of the sound and how they just reverberated. But I wanted to be like him. And I thought, yeah, let's buy some sound bowls. Let's buy like, sound bowl in the key of C. And one thing that I started to realize was that, start to look it up online. It's like, that's really expensive, Sandra. Why don't you go to the metaphysical shops, because they always have like samples of sound bowls. And why don't you like try to see if you get a sound, like a constant sound with those guys. Lo and behold, I didn't. And I instantaneously, kid you not, grew super bored with the whole process. And I just thought, yeah, I think this is a good thing that we're not spending a ton of money on this one and not going for this one just yet. But that to me is just epitome of any sort of retrograde in Sagittarius. It's just, you get these really grand ideas, but is it the good time to act on those grand ideas just yet? And the answer is usually, I hate to say it, when we get grand ideas, it's like, hey, let's act on them. Let's see where we go. And it could be our purpose. It could be our calling. It could be, something great calling us, right? And unfortunately, not the case. Now, the whole purpose with Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is to really kind of reflect inwardly if these things reverberate well with us. And if they don't, kind of like getting a pro-con list or like a blue sky list with these guys. And if they don't reverberate very well, maybe holding off and thinking about it and seeing, like if it's meant to be, it'll wait for you. It'll wait however long that you are waiting for within this situation. And it'll wait till it happens for you. But yeah, lots of grand ideas, and what's frustrating is you can't act on any of them. That's what Sagittarius is, what Mercury retrograde Sagittarius means to me. But I would just say, yeah, use this time to draw that pro-con list and see if these things work for you. The ideas that you're getting, like, keep a pad of paper and a pen nearby. And like I could show you some of my ideas. I'm going to pause here for a minute. So grab a pad of paper and a pen and just like notate these ideas in a good journal. This is one of my personal journals. And like notate these ideas in a journal, or just kind of jot them down on a piece of paper, on a pad, and really just see, like, think about them. Use this point to kind of grow from those things. It also could be a good point, like, say that you have lots of goals. And it just seems like right now it's kind of frustrating because these goals sound really good. They sound really awesome. That's the whole effect of Sagittarius. Big things sound super awesome. Like for me, I've gotten the idea of having an astrology tea shop. And I've had to think about it. It's like, look, you got the cost of tea. Are you going to get business? Even though you might have astrology themes, are people going to be interested? Because in the Denver, Colorado area, it just doesn't seem like a lot of people are interested in astrology. When I started, just readings on the 16th Street Mall, a lot of people are just like, no, this is hooey, I don't care. This is hippie stuff, I don't care, I don't want to do it. So, like I said, I've had to, I think it just could be that we're in a society where it's, need needs as opposed to want needs. And astrology falls in the category of want needs. So I think a lot of people are just like, no, that's a want need. I don't need it right now. And then save it for a more prosperous time type of thing. It's a shame either way. But that's something I have to write down along with a blue sky sort of goal that Mercury retrograde has brought up for me. Another thing is, like I said, just getting all these big things, usually self-business wise. And it's like, whoa, pause. Don't, like I said, maybe just like learn, like for me, one of the ideas is herbalism. I love the idea of healing with herbs, but there's a lot to herbalism, and fascinating. I love it, especially foraging your own herbs. It's wonderful. Or cultivating your own herbs. Super fascinating. Super duper fascinating. But there's a lot to learn, like with the properties and making sure that you got the right herb. You don't get a lookalike that could be poisonous. Really fascinating stuff. Definitely. I'm thinking I might be one of the ones who's like cultivating these herbs that are mentioned and just growing them on my own and then getting some practice with them. From there, maybe get practice with some salves, but you know, like on me and me only. You know, but again, it's like this is a good time to kind of kick back, kind of like with the herbalism example. You know, just take classes and anything that you could get your hands on, just learn. You know, and that goes for any big goal right now. Sit back, learn. Even though it's counterintuitive, it's on Aries, and we're used to being Scorpio, and also it's on Scorpio too. Being in Scorpio season, it's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And, you know, it's not that time yet, you know, and especially since, you know, not only will Mercury go into retrograde, not only is he going into Mercury, not only is Mercury going into retrograde today, tongue-tied, Jupiter will also be going into retrograde as of the 11th. So when it comes to success, that's going to be an inward reflection, an inward journey as well. But yeah, just use this time to like take some courses, like a certification course. I recommend Udemy. They are not sponsored. I just recommend them. They have loads of sales all the time. And I think even more so than any other site I've seen for certifications. And yeah, just like kick back, relax, and I hate to say that, but kick back, relax, and, you know, learn more about your role. You know, and also if you feel like you've been chipping away at it for the whole time, see what else you can do. There might be a piece missing, and this is a good time. Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius to Scorpio will last until the 29th. So, right with Thanksgiving. Thank you, the stars. Thank you, Mother Nature. We love you for that one. But with the transition into Scorpio, I just wanted to make sure your guys' auras were this dust was getting out of there. I know, it's so frustrating. It's such a frustrating transit. Oh my goodness. But with Scorpio, I think also we're going to see a lot of frustration when it comes to drive again. We want to do something. We want to move ahead as we're destined to move ahead. And it just seems like this energy is kind of, well, Mercury retrograde is holding you back because it's causing you to go inward again. I also think this is another time where we are revisiting, you know, if we haven't already. And I know, again, same journal, I've been doing some shadow work. It looks like this is going to be a time where we're definitely getting to the heart of shadow work. And if that daunts you a little bit, maybe just inner work. You know, getting down, confronting what the hell is bothering you at this time, and just letting it out. I also love to leave an advice column with my shadow work, so it's not just, you know, this sucks, that sucks, everything else sucks, especially since I feel like I'm going through a dark night of the soul this time. And it's just a process. It's just a spiritual, psychological process. But with that dark night of the soul, also have some advice of something I can reflect on throughout the week so that I can actually do something about it, as opposed to just kind of complaining about it. And I feel like Mercury retrograde is going to be challenging us to do more of that. All right, well, with this said, if you're like me and you're sweating Mercury retrograde, I'm hoping that this video helps a little bit. also be a kind of, well, actually, it'll be okay. And I just want to make sure that that little dust in the aura is okay. Awesome. And then just some common tips. While I mention that, this has made some really great sounds. My Starbucks cup. I think I will try just the cup right now. So a couple tips with Mercury retrograde in general, whatever the sign happens to be. This is also a good time to go within to listen to how we can better effectively listen and how we could better effectively communicate. And with that communication, what we're learning with communication, how to implement that. Oops, I think I'm like tapping too hard there. But I think with communication, see where your pitfalls might be. Journal it a little bit too, since we're going within. You might be experiencing something like I did with barbering, where somebody universally, it's like they had a list, or they had there's a list and a note of what to do with their haircut, and without fail, universally, it was always, oh no, screw the list. I know exactly what to do with my haircut. And did they communicate the haircut effectively? No. And it turned out it ended up being what was on their notes. But I know sometimes that could get really super frustrating when people just like kind of, they feel like they can communicate really well, and then they muddle through, and then they leave you with a lack of understanding, and then like blame it on listening. And really, that's not the issue. So definitely like take a look and reflect. What are some pitfalls in communication that I seem to experience a lot lately? If somebody is so sure that they're communicating really well, how can I double check and make sure that they are? And how can I double check to make sure I'm understanding them effectively? Without getting confrontational, which is a big thing with Mercury retrograde. Everybody wants to get confrontational. I would not be surprised, especially within Scorpio, because Scorpio is very, let's move, let's go. And if someone's not being understood, that's when not only defenses go up, but also the sharp words. And that's kind of like the shadow side of Scorpio. I think the more evolved side is like, get on top of your stuff, Scorpio. But yeah, just see how you can communicate better. And I also say how you can listen better all the way around too. That I think is also encompassed by Mercury retrograde. Try journaling it. Try reflecting on it every day and see what happens. I've been tapping this thing like crazy. Whenever I've been drinking anything out of it, it's been really neat. And let's take a look at the lid here. But yeah, and I think common other tips, don't sign anything during Mercury retrograde. Any contracts, avoid it if you can. Any major work being done, don't expect it to be done on time. A lot of people seem to get delayed. Traffic also, believe it or not, there's a lot of traffic jams during Mercury retrograde. Like traffic gets delayed. Travel gets delayed as well. So plan accordingly for your commute in the morning. Maybe leave an extra hour early if you can, or even just a couple of minutes might be very helpful to you, so that you avoid the risk of running late. And then you know, if you're unable to avoid signing a contract at this time, just don't be surprised when Mercury goes direct that you might need to renegotiate. And that terms might be a little fuzzy with that contract until things are kind of patched up with that. But all the way around, Stargazers, I think, you know, despite how challenging it can be, I think we can manage. I think we could do this. I believe in you. Yes. I believe in you. Yeah. All Stargazers. I do hope that this ASMR channel, not this episode, actually helped you for this time being. And I really hope that you guys are staying well. One reason why I was off the air for a while is because I was sick with a cold. So I really hope that you guys are staying healthy and staying well. And above all, be well. And between now and my next video, I'll see you again. Good night. Bye-bye, Stargazers.